to Combat Sports Talk, a podcast dedicated to UFC discussion. We are here at Austin Avenue for UFC 228. This is Ryan Smith, and I am joined by the double champ, George G Money Stallworth. How are you today, sir?
Doing well, man. Doing well. Can't complain at all. Feeling great.
All right. Well, the main card is underway. We have a knockout in the first round from Al Hassan. He was fighting Nico Price. I had Nico Price from the show this previous week. You had a different fighter.
Yeah, I said I was going with the home team. Some of us wondered what I meant by that. But yeah, that knockout was like, 30 seconds or less? I don't even think it...
This may have not made the buffer factor. I mean, This is one of those...
Absolutely.
That went so fast that... So for those of you out there who don't know what the buffer factor is, it is written that a fight must last at least as long as it takes to be announced. And I don't think Nico Price lasted that long. He was running from go.
Yeah.
Al Hassan was throwing bombs.
He got rocked. The referee did the best thing he could have possibly done by stepping in to save him.
Woo! And we're watching the highlights now. Just dropped him the Black Star from Ghana.
Specimen-sponsored athlete.
Specimen-sponsored athlete. He's a hometown man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now have you ever met him?
Fortis MMA. No, I don't think we've met. I think I've seen him a time or two, but we haven't actually met. There's already been at least 3 fighters from Fortis MMA on the card tonight.
Wow.
Jeff Neal won by a vicious left head kick.
Okay.
And Charles Bird, Charles was the favorite to win. Was doing great the entire fight. Just got caught at the end by, I think, what's his name? I want to say Watson.
Okay.
Got caught by him.
I'm pulling up the card right now.
While you're doing that, we just saw an image of Derek, the Black Beast, show up on TV. If you've never had a chance,
Lewis.
You should go check out his Instagram. Some of the funniest things going on Instagram today.
Absolutely. So, and it wasn't a big drive for him. He's actually from the Houston area.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, not a bad drive. It is here in Dallas, Texas. Unfortunately, we do not have tickets.
It almost happened twice.
Almost had tickets, but we did not. We did not get tickets. So, while we wait for the next fight to queue up, let's talk a little bit about, I introduced you as the double champ.
Yeah. 2
championship belts. Tell us a little bit about what you've been doing in the ring.
So I just had a fight back on the 25th of August at 185 for Fury Kickboxing. I previously fought for them several months ago at the 205 weight class. This one was 185, and I won a second strap.
All right, man.
In more of the fashion that I should have been fighting in.
All right, because remember last time when we talked, you talked about the fact that your previous fight, even though you won the belt, you weren't pleased with your performance.
Correct.
You'd come in, you didn't have to cut much weight, and you felt like that hindered your ability to perform. So what you're telling me now is that you were able to make some adjustments?
Absolutely. This one I fought at 185. It's 20 pounds lighter than the previous fight. That's a big difference. My cardio was better. I still gassed, but my cardio was much better. My movement was much better. I actually landed the things I intended and worked on in practice all throughout, this camp. And I'm actually preparing for another fight here in 7 days.
All right.
Back to back.
All right. Talk to us a little bit about that fight. So this one, you said, is a qualifier.
Yeah. So this fight is taking place at Dominion Fight Academy. It's a local fight gym here in the DFW area. They're affiliated with Saxon Muay Thai.
Okay.
Dominion puts on fights from time to time. I fought for them about 2 years ago on a similar card. It's an exhibition qualifier for some of their other tournament series. They also put on some shows in Oklahoma and a couple of other places.
Okay.
But it's a great event. You should everybody, I invite you to come out, check it out. I intend to put on another show. I think the cost of admission is like $7. It's off of Plano Road here in Dallas, Texas. In Richardson, Texas.
Okay.
By all means, if you're in the area, come out, enjoy the fights.
Absolutely. So everyone out there, what we're going to do is, we're going to make sure that we are tweeting out, from the Combat Sports Talk page, as well as trying to make sure that everybody's aware of the fights that's going on. Come out and support hometown talent. Our G Money George Stallworth is going to be fighting again. Right now, since I've known you, you've not lost a fight.
No, I'm undefeated as far as Muay Thai and kickboxing.
All right. All right, so it looks like on the card, it looks like John the Magician Dodson is going to be fighting Jimmy Rivera.
So, yeah, this is an interesting matchup. I think a lot of the betting odds are leaning towards Rivera. But I don't know, man. I'm kind of leaning more towards Dodson.
You know, Dodson is one of my favorite guys. You know, he's the only guy that I believe legitimately had a shot at beating Demetrius Johnson. I mean, he's got the power and the strength. Unfortunately, he lost twice to DJ.
Correct.
And so he went up to 135. And the problem with that is that those guys are just too big for him.
A lot bigger than him. They almost make him look midgety.
Yeah. So, you know, now that we've got Henry Cejudo, who's, you know, the person holding the belt, I don't know that I'm going to call him the champion. Because I believe if you're going to be the champion, you got to beat the champion. And I don't believe he did that. But he is holding the belt. I will respect that. And I think that this is a good reason for John Dodson to make his way back down to 125 pounds and challenge again for that belt.
I could definitely see that happening or being a marquee fight. I know Cejudo's actually talking about stepping up to 135 to fight TJ Dillashaw.
I'm so against that. I'm so against that. You just won the belt. Defend the belt. Fight some of those guys that are at 125 pounds before you go up and start talking about super fights and fighting at a higher weight class.
So I take it in this age of mass media marketing and getting the money fights that you in the other instances of that, say Conor McGregor, for example.
Yeah.
He did the same thing. He never defended the 145 strap, went straight to 155.
Well, so I think that serves as an example of why you don't allow that as a promotion. Because he fought at 145, instantly went up and fought Eddie Alvarez, got the 155, then decided he's going to fight Floyd Mayweather, and then he didn't fight again after that. Like, now he's finally coming back next month. I don't want to see that happen again. I think that there's rules and standards to this.
Do you know that Conor has never defended any of his straps?
I did not know that.
If I'm not mistaken, even like some of his
in other promotions,
King of the Cage, or I forget what the promotion was that he used to fight overseas. None of his straps have ever been defended, and he was a double champ over there as well. Wow.
Well, I will say this: you know who has defended his belts? The other double champ, and that's Daniel Cormier, who's at ringside tonight with Joe Rogan and John Anik.
So, no, let's talk about this for a second. He just got the heavyweight strap. You can't say he's defended his belts yet.
Okay.
He's defended a belt.
He has defended the light.
And that belt is still in question because of a left head kick.
You know what? That left head kick, it still mystifies me. Let me tell you why. Because we were talking about that left head kick by John Jones, and John Jones told him that he was going to land this head kick.
Yes.
Daniel Cormier said, I am not going to allow this to happen, and then it did happen.
So you've heard many fighters talk about, I see things when I'm in practice. This is what I want to make happen, those things. Visualization is a very important component when fighting. Mm-hmm. My last fight, I saw me winning this by a left head kick. Guess what? I go out in the fight, I throw nothing but left head kicks.
Right.
John Jones told this man, hey, I'm going to knock you out with this. I've seen it.
Right.
Conor McGregor does it all. They call him Mystic Mac.
Mystic Mac.
There's something really to speaking out into existence what you intend to do to someone and then following through with that.
Right. Right. All right. So you know how we do it when we watch in the live events. We've got the fighters walking out. I know that you said that your heart kind of was going for John Dodson, but Rivera has the Vegas odds.
Correct.
Are you going to make a pick?
I'm going with Dodson by stoppage.
Wow. So, like I said before, I love Dodson. I want to see him go down to 125 pounds, but I'm going to go with Rivera. I think Rivera's going to win this thing. He's too big, too strong. He's going to beat Dodson. Going to beat Dodson by stoppage. in the third round.
We're both saying somebody's getting saved by the ref, huh?
Third round stoppage, though. It's going to look like it's going to go all the way, and then it's not. So what we're going to do, we're going to put this thing on hold while we watch the fights, and we'll be back with the results after this. All right. So the result of the fight is Jimmy Rivera by decision, 29-28 and 230-27.
Yeah, that one was pretty much definitely a win for Riviera.
Absolutely.
I feel like Dotson got off to a great start, but he didn't follow through.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen John Dotson do some amazing things in the ring. He just seems so tentative. I don't know if he was just trying to execute the game plan, but he's an electric fighter.
Absolutely.
And somebody just pulled the plug on him. They need to charge that guy up.
I really expected a little bit more intensity out of him tonight, man. I think he could have gotten off. I'll tell you what Riviera did well was that lead leg kick, man. Taking out Dotson's lead leg really shut down his offense.
Yeah. So, you know what's fun? I just want to say, since we don't do the live during the fight commentary, you got to sit and watch these fights with George, because he's telling you what needs to happen and what is going on. And as soon as he finishes saying it, that's when you hear Daniel Cormier, you hear Joe Rogan. They're like, yeah, like it's like they're agreeing with you.
It happens from time to time. I have noticed it. This is at least the second or third time Daniel and I have been right on top of each other.
Yeah, well, but that's the great thing, though. If you're a coach and you're training fighters and you're getting fighters ready for the war in the octagon or the ring or wherever it is that they're going to fight, that you have to have that eye of where the opportunity is and help train people to be able to see how to break down their opponent. And it's just seeing you do it in real time is just amazing. It's
something I really want to get better at, because I want to focus more on the coaching aspect of it. I think I told you earlier, my kids, I teach a kids class out at my school, Darkside, and several of my kids fought a few months ago back in some smoker tournaments. We're preparing them now for the next set of fights.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. I'm actually trying to impart some of that same wisdom to those kids. I make them coach each other when they spar each other.
Right.
And it helps them, their fight IQ level up as well.
Excellent. So the next fight that's coming up is one of the people that I like to talk about, and that's Zabit Magomedsharipov. He's part of the Dagestani gangster crew that Khabib Nurmagomedov is the dawn of.
Yep.
He's got a late fight replacement. He's supposed to be fighting Yair Rodriguez, but Yair found a way not to fight Zabit.
Twice.
And I don't blame him. But Brandon Davis decided he's going to step in.
Killer B, Brandon Davis.
Killer B. Late fight replacement.
I was going to say, as far as skill level, I don't see this being much of a task for Zabit. I hope he gets to play and really gain some octagon experience. We'll see what happens. But, these are also real dangerous fights for fighters to take, though.
Right.
These short notice fights against guys who, on the outskirts look like tomato cans, and then they show up on fight night.
Right.
Literally.
Right, because when you're a late fight replacement, you got nothing to lose. You weren't planning on fighting. There wasn't money that was going to be in your bank account, but you could make a name for yourself tonight by knocking out someone like Zabit Magomedsharipov, who has got such a high profile. He went from unranked to number 15. If he wins again tonight, I wouldn't be surprised if he wasn't knocking on the door of the top 10.
Absolutely. He probably should be in the top 10, but if the UFC is smart, they will slow walk his progress towards a championship title fight. Let this guy marinate and get better. You know what I'm saying? He's already pretty damn good.
Yes.
But that octagon experience, you can't replace that, man.
Yeah. Would you want to see him against Brian T. City Ortega right now?
No, not at all.
Would you want to see him against a Max Holloway right now?
Not that I don't think he could handle some things like that.
Yeah.
But there really is a thing of gaining that experience, leveling up each fight. It's kind of like a video game. We spoke about that earlier.
Yes.
You practice this game and you get better and better and better, and you attain new levels, new chips, new weapons.
Absolutely.
And that's what happens with fighters.
Yeah. So Brandon Davis is walking into the ring. They said he had 11 days notice. So, the record of late fight replacements is very, very poor. So that's not working in Brandon Davis's favor. But is the fact that he's got nothing to lose enough for you to pick him tonight?
Even though there's not a great record of late fight notice fighters winning, there are those occasional ones that happen, and when they do, they show up in great fashion, man. And I wouldn't be surprised seeing something like that. Like I said, number one, Zabit's still early in his career with the UFC.
Right.
And if somebody's going to catch him, this is the time when you catch him. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't put it past him, but my money is on Zabit by all means.
All
Zabit's
right.
about to put on a clinic.
All right. You going with a stoppage? Is this going to go all 3 rounds?
This is going all 3 rounds. Zabit's putting on a clinic and just going to work. Only reason it doesn't go 3 rounds is Brandon just gets clipped by something that Zabit really didn't intend to knock him out with.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that this thing's going to look like it went 10 rounds when we look at Brandon Davis's face by the time it's over. But I think it's going to be 30-27 across the board for Zabit Magomedsharipov.
Yeah. That's what my money says. Some conventional wisdom would say, no, go in here and get this guy out quick. Don't play. Don't mess around. But like I said, getting that extra octagon experience
you need the time in the ring.
High-level fighters, yeah, it levels you up so much more than you ever could in practice.
Right. When you say that, it makes me think about what Khabib did versus Al Iaquinta.
Yeah.
Once he realized that he had the fight in hand, that he was going to win the fight, he started working on things that he hadn't got a chance to work on in practice. That was his hands, working on some of his combos and things like that. It looked very rudimentary. I mean, granted, Khabib Nurmagomedov is a Sambo black belt champion. So, you can't really call his striking bad and get away with it and live to tell about it.
Top-notch UFC caliber.
But it didn't look UFC caliber.
It doesn't look like Conor McGregor's.
Right.
It doesn't look like Max Holloway.
Right.
But I tell you who's does. Zabit, how do you pronounce the name?
Magomedsharipov.
Magomedsharipov.
And he's got crazy wrestling, crazy striking. They're showing highlights right now. Him doing the Showtime kick, him doing the belly-to-back suplex that made Khabib famous.
Anaconda rolls. I mean, this
ragdoll.
He's high level just about everywhere he goes, whether it's the ground, the wrestling. I think he practices some type of kung fu, wushu kung fu.
I think it's like wushu, right?
As well as his striking.
As well as the fact that he is a giant among little men at 145 pounds. He's like 6'3".
Looks like a Dagestani Jesus.
All right, well, we're going to put this one on pause. We're going to see what happens in this fight, and we'll be back with the results right after this. All right, the decision has been read. Zabit Magomedsharipov comes off with a second-round submission by knee bar. It was a great fight, though.
Nice showing by both gentlemen. Brandon Davis put on a pretty good show.
Yeah, given 11 days of preparation for someone like Zabit, I am very impressed by him.
So I have a question for you.
Okay.
Did you think Zabit's showing was clinical? Did you think it was is it what you expected out of him in this fight?
I would have to say yes. I mean, he was relaxed. He was never in danger. He did what he wanted to do. I think when we were talking about what Zabit did when he was on the cage, back to the cage, got his hands up, started moving his head, and then came over with this huge left hook that was beautiful.
And the head movement set that up so well. It's like the guy got so focused on head hunting him, he forgot to defend.
Right.
It's exactly what happened.
And so when I think about Zabit Magomedsharipov, it comes back to, yes, this is what I expected to see from him. I expected to see him be able to do and execute whatever he wanted to do, which I feel like he did. Even when Brandon Davis stopped his first trip, he ended up winning the fight, doing the trip that
he intended to land
originally, and got the knee bar.
Yeah. Very good showing, man. I see nothing but great things coming from this guy in the future, especially if they allow him to grow in a proper manner. Don't toss this guy to your top featherweights right now. Well, it's just no need to.
Do you think? I mean, the big challenge is that as he begins to work his way through, my question back for you is, how many fights before they give it to him? Because you can't keep him away forever because...
I'm not saying keep him away, but let him really climb the ladder.
How many more fights, though?
I think his next fight should definitely be somebody within the top 10.
Okay.
And from there, he needs to climb. Whoever he beats in that top 10, he needs to go at number 10 and then progress up the ladder piece by piece. At least 3 more fights before he fights for a champion. Give him time to grow and marinate.
Yeah, I think that's great. So, that gives Max Holloway and
Brian Ortega.
Wait, did he just call out Chad Mendes?
I think so. I think I heard.
I don't know.
I've heard whispers of that Zabit versus Chad already earlier today.
I guess Chad fights at 145.
Yeah.
But Chad is such a small guy. He's a little guy.
Wrestling versus Zabit's submission skills. It'd be an interesting mix.
It'd be an interesting mix for sure. So
and I want to say Chad's back in the top 10 already, isn't he? He just had a fight not too long ago.
He had a fight not too long ago. I don't know if he's in the top 10 or not. He was out because of an USADA violation. So he finally got back after his 1-year suspension. He came in, he fought, he won. I think he won by stoppage. So, Chad Money Mendez is...
That's a legitimate fight.
It's a legit fight.
And now we're seeing the previews for the Conor and Khabib show.
Yeah.
But I do want to go back to talking about Chad and Zabit and a few other things. So that 145 division, you got Brian Ortega, you've got Max Holloway there.
Right. You got Frankie Edgar. Frankie Edgar.
I'm trying to think who else is in the 145 there. That would be a challenge.
You got Jose Aldo.
Yeah. I'm thinking 3 more fights, and at least 2 of those need to be within the top 10.
Right.
And Zabit should be ready.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to that. Seeing his career, blossom. But I agree with you that they need to give him a couple of more fights. Build the anticipation. Mm-hmm. Use that time.
So, speaking of anticipation, I'm patiently waiting for the return of John Jones. Do you have any news for me? Have you heard anything about? You mentioned USADA earlier. That's what sparked my mind on this.
Okay, so here's what we know. We know that John Jones is still serving his suspension from the California State Athletic Commission.
Okay.
That the USADA has not spoken on any additional sanctions against John Jones. The belief that I have right now is that once he serves his suspension from the California State Athletic Commission, that USADA is not going to add on any additional time. That one of the USADA either former or current board members had testified that they did not believe, based upon the testing that they had done, that John Jones had maliciously chosen and purposely chosen to use some type of performance-enhancing drug.
How do you think that's going to shine up on him in the long run when it comes to his legacy? I mean, there's this doubt hovering over whether or not he actually did or didn't use. Even though he's been labeled a cheater, you hear every fighter who's in contention with him. DC calls him a cheater.
Right.
Michael Bisping calls him a cheater.
Right.
I mean, all Chael Sonnen of all people called him a cheater.
Right.
But you've got USADA, an official organization who does an investigation, goes through, tries to tie up any and all loose ends, who's saying, hey, you know what? Don't believe he was trying to cheat.
If I was John Jones, I would go to the tattoo parlor. I'd get an asterisk put on my shoulder. That becomes a chip on my shoulder, and I'd go back in the octagon, be clean, and knock folks out.
I like
because
that.
the thing is that you're right. He is going to be called a cheater for the rest of his career. Accept it. Embrace it. He's made too many mistakes. Even if this was an unintentional use or some type of tainted supplement or whatever, he's still done too many things wrong in his career to be able to shake this off. He now has that moniker. Put that asterisk on your shoulder. Put that on your back. And then dare anybody to come in there and stand with you. Because at the end of the day,
I like
you know,
that.
you know,
Own it. Go T.J. Dillashaw.
Yeah.
You call me a snake.
Call me a snake.
That's my new. That's my new anthem.
I'm the snake. So, but you know, it's going to always be part of his story. But you can't run from it forever. You can't try to convince people anything otherwise. So just every time someone wants to bring up cheating, you remind them that no fighter in the UFC has ever beaten you.
Not only that, you damn near ended DC's career at light heavyweight with the left head kick.
Yes. It was a beautiful left head kick. And the great thing about it is that he called it. He
told him beforehand, this is what I'm going to do to you. This is the weakness I see, so look for it.
All right. Now, we just had someone walk up to our table. So are you going to introduce?
Former colleague of mine, this is Amanda. Amanda, I want you to introduce you to Ryan.
Hi, Amanda.
This
How are
Tom.
you? So Amanda just joined us. She's a former colleague of George. All right. Welcome. So, yeah, I mean, we're just talking about the fights. We just finished one of the fights. And getting ready to have Karolina Kowalkiewicz versus Jessica Andrade. This is a great strawweight fight.
Who's your pick on this one?
I always have been a fan of Karolina Kowalkiewicz. Even though I know Andrade is an amazing striker, amazing wrestler, she's so strong. I like the technical striking of Kowalkiewicz, and so therefore I'm going with the Polish woman.
I'm going to have to part ways with you on this one. Jessica Andrade.
Wow. Okay. All right.
I'm going now.
I think this is going to go all 3 rounds. Karolina Kowalkiewicz, she's going to outstrike her. She's going to stay off the ground, and we're going to see this by decision.
Like I said, I'm going with Jessica. Stoppage, second round.
All right. Well, we're seeing the pre-fight package. They're getting ready to walk out to the ring. We'll be right back after the results to tell you what happened. All right. Let's just go on to the next fight.
Whatever.
Oh my gosh. Karolina Kowalkiewicz got dropped in the first round by Jessica Andrade with a beautiful hook. I mean, rolled her eyes on the back of the head. This fight was just over.
Not just dropped, there was an onslaught from the beginning of the fight until 1:58 seconds. And so, I think you said perfectly, she gonna cry in the car.
She gonna cry in the car. This is the bad part, though, is that we talked about the buffer factor. This is another buffer factor fight. Karolina Kowalkiewicz did not last as long as it took to announce her fight to the ring. So therefore, I hate to say it, but my girl let me down.
I had Jessica from the onset.
Oh, my gosh. So let's talk about it real quick. Jessica Andrade walked into the ring, started throwing bombs from go, and she was not afraid of the technical striking of Kowalkiewicz. She just knew that she could take the punches, get in there, and throw bombs.
Well, that's what you should do against a technical fighter. You don't let them be technical. You create the onslaught from the beginning. They don't have a chance to establish their game.
Right. And that was the thing. I mean, when Jessica Andrade landed that punch, Karolina Kowalkiewicz, her eyes were closed.
Yeah.
I mean, she was just throwing to try to anything she had. There was no technical striking going on right there. At least, I mean, tell me, because I'm not a trained fighter. Are you supposed to throw punches with your eyes closed?
No.
Okay.
But as a technical fighter, the ideal thing for her to have done was to try to slow the pace down, putting her hands up, blocking, and just give off her own calming energy. Not even necessarily have to return shots, but just block some shots and let her know that whatever you're doing is not working. We're going to calm this fight down, and I'm going to take over in a second.
Right. And that's the thing, too, is when you're expending as much energy as Andrade was, and we're not going to talk about what kind of, gas tank that Andrade has, but you can't throw punches at that volume for 3 5-minute rounds. You just can't do it.
I don't know what Andrade's game plan was after that. If she gassed out, I'm thinking that she's thinking a takedown or something to that effect.
Right, but that's what I'm expecting Kowalkiewicz to have trained was takedown defense, because that's really Andrade's game, right?
Yeah.
They got Henry Cejudo on the screen right now. I'm going to turn away and look the other way.
What about your boy Kamaru Usman and Valentina?
Oh, look at
that.
There's
been some funny memes saying that should be the next fight.
Kamaru Usman and Valentina. So Nico got removed from the card.
I don't know if you would call it removed or removed herself.
Wow. So we
not
were
only
talking about
removed,
this.
stripped. And I don't mean of
removed
clothing.
From the card. So they didn't. Wow. I didn't realize that when you said that she had gotten stripped of the belt, that she had been removed from the card, and that fight, which was supposed to be the co-main event, didn't happen.
Correct. Valentina was upset, and understandably so. She put in a great camp for this fight. I'm sure the UFC is probably going to take care of her.
They should.
But
now
Dana White stripped Nico almost in less than 12 hours after the announcement, I believe.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Which speaks volumes for what the UFC believes really went on with her not fighting.
Yeah, I think that what was going to happen is as time goes on, we will learn more about what happened with that weight cut, why they stripped her of the belt, and why they took that fight off the card. Because, I mean, frankly, unless she was, what's the rule? If you're 6 pounds over, then it's not safe to fight.
I'm not sure what the exact amount is.
But there is a weight limit that if you are within, let's say, 8 pounds of the contracted weight, then they will not allow you to fight, regardless of what your health condition is. That you were too far away from the contracted fight weight for them to even allow the fight to happen. I don't know what the rules are in Texas, but I know
I'd be interested to find out what the timing is on that too.
Yeah,
they'd have to have set times that they're checking that weight, and I'd be interested to know exactly how that played out. And I wonder if we're ever going to find out the truth.
I don't know. Now they've got Kamaru Usman on the screen. He's actually from the Dallas area.
Yeah, I've heard. I mean, he's Nigerian
by way of
born,
Nigeria, but that he calls Dallas at least one of his hometowns.
Yeah.
So now, and so, what did you think about the fact that this is really the first fight where they actually had someone make weight, go through a training camp, not a full training camp, but just be on standby in the event that one of the two main event fighters failed to make it to the octagon tonight?
They wasted Kamaru Usman's time.
Oh, they paid him.
No, when I say they wasted his time, they never bothered to check with Woodley or Till to say, hey, we've got this on standby. And Woodley came out and told, hey, I'm not doing that. No, I am a champion. I'm not fighting someone on 24 hours notice or whatever, just to make up for somebody who shouldn't even be fighting me, who just missed weight. So you created this situation. Why would I have to suffer the consequences and possibly lose my title?
So here's my question for you. What do you do with Kamaru Usman? He made weight. He did his job. So he's ready for a fight. Do you give him Colby Covington? Do you give him the loser of this fight? What do you do?
I think he could definitely, and I think it would be a good fight for him to take the loser of this fight. I think Colby should be fighting whoever has the belt next.
Man, I'd like to see Kamaru Usman fight Colby. That's the fight I want to see. They should be stripping Colby from this fight right now.
These two fights could set up possibly the Kamaru and Colby fight. I don't think Colby could get past Till. No. But even if he lost to Till, you still got the Kamaru and Colby fight.
Yeah.
Kamaru, I'd have to go back and look at who he's beaten here lately. But no one top tier just comes to mind when I think of him.
The reason why no one top tier comes to mind is because no one top tier wants that problem. That Kamaru Usman presents a problem that nobody wants because it's smothering wrestling, it's very good striking, and it's a pace that it's a sprint the entire time. Nobody wants that fight, and so he's had to fight people like. He had to fight Damian Maia. He had to fight, he was supposed to be fighting Santiago Ponzinibbio, but he wasn't able to fight. A lot of fighters are these low end, bottom, 15 to 20 kind of fighters that he's able to get. Now that he's in the top 5, somebody's got to accept that fight. and I want it to be Colby.
I wouldn't mind seeing him dish out that ass whooping to Colby.
That is animosity between the two.
And like I said, I see several fights in that division they can set up and make some things look really well. Kamaru and Colby, Kamaru and Till.
Yep.
Till and Colby.
Yeah.
Who else is in there knocking at the door?
There's Robbie Lawler's in that division. You got Stephen Thompson in that division.
Stevens just had two title fights.
Yeah, but that's another option for Kamaru Usman. That's another option for Colby Covington.
Colby needs to catch that ass whooping either from Tyron or Kamaru next.
Yep. We'll see it.
Make America great again.
All right. Well, we are looking at the package before the entrance of the main event contenders. Do you have a fight pick for tonight? Is it going to be the Gorilla from Liverpool, Darren Till, or are you going to go with St. Louis, Missouri's own, the champion, the chosen one, Tyron Woodley?
I'm going with the veteran with the experience. A lot of people are picking Till to take this fight. I just don't think they really understand the type of fighter Tyron Woodley is.
I am very concerned about the size disadvantage that he is facing with Darren Till. Darren Till made weight for this fight. He's going to rehydrate. He's going to come in. I want to say he's coming in probably close to 200 pounds.
Darren Till's not had this big a stage yet. Tyron has always fought bigger opponents. Tyron is the David of the 170ers.
He's a little guy.
So this is not just out. He's not a fish out of water fighting someone as huge as Till.
Yeah, but I don't know that he's fighting someone who's as elite a striker as Till.
That's still. I'm not knocking Till. I'm not knocking Till. But outside of Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, who have we seen Till deal with? He's not fought any other top level guys.
Well, he hasn't. His other big fight was Cowboy Cerrone, who really should be back at lightweight, but he knocked Cerrone out. It wasn't a competition.
I don't put Cerrone and Tyron Woodley in the same category.
You're right. I'm not doing that. Darren Till made it up the ranks way faster than perhaps he should have. But there is something about size. Size does matter.
Can we back up a moment? Are we really at the last fight?
We at the last fight.
Oh my goodness. Okay. That's shocking.
It's quick tonight, man.
Yeah,
and this one might go quick too. So, you're going with Tyron Woodley?
Absolutely.
Any predictions about how it's going to go?
Tyron by... I'm giving him the knockout.
All right. I think if it's going to come, I'm going with Tyron Woodley as well. If it's going to come...
And this is exactly why it's going to come. That raised chin right there.
He's a Muay Thai fighter. I expect you to be breaking down his Muay Thai game while we're watching this.
I'll see what I can do.
But I'm going to say it like this. I think it's going to take 4 rounds for Tyron Woodley to get in there and land the punch that he needs to land. I agree with you. Tyron Woodley is a smaller guy. He's been the smaller guy against people like Stephen Thompson. He's going to find a way to get inside. He's going to find a way to land that punch. We're going to test that chin tonight, Mr. Till. I hope you got something behind it.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Tyron wrestle. He's a Division I wrestler.
I hope not.
I wouldn't be surprised to see it.
I hope not. All right. We made our picks. Fighters are making their way to the ring. We will be back after this with the results. We are back. It was a quick fight, 2 rounds, and Tyron Woodley, and still the welterweight champion of the world, finished it with a Darce choke. What did you think?
I think he was happier to receive that black belt than he was the actual belt Dana put around his waist.
Absolutely.
And the fact that he finished it with a jiu-jitsu submission and then got the black belt, it was like icing on a cake, man. You couldn't script it better than that.
I am super proud. of Tyron Woodley. So here's the thing that I wanted to ask you is, now that Tyron Woodley has gotten this win and he's moved past Darren Till, defeating Darren Till in the second round via Darce choke, Darren Till in his last fight, when he missed weight against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, he was in the post-fight press conference saying, I do not deserve a title shot because of what I did tonight. And then he got a title shot. Do you think that he deserved this title shot, and did he get what he deserved?
Well, there were some precursors to him getting that title shot. One, Colby Covington pulled out. If not for that, no, we wouldn't have been watching Darren Till versus Tyron tonight.
Okay.
And honestly, from what it looks like, Darren probably did need another filler fight or two before fighting for this.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting to me because he's got the size, because he's got the reach, because he's got all of these advantages, youth, size, reach, all of these things. Technically, they said that they have the same reach, but given the height disadvantage, you know, that equal reach becomes a little bit of a disadvantage for Tyron Woodley because he's punching up, right?
Correct.
But the all of these advantages that Darren Till had, he had almost no volume of punches in the first round, and he was whooped at the very beginning of the second round.
Well, I think he was, one, concerned about the takedown attempt.
Sure.
He did not expect Tyron to come out and attempt a takedown and then start to wrestle.
Right.
And I think that mentally threw Darren off for a moment.
Sure.
And then Tyron got, I wouldn't say lucky, Tyron worked his craft, got him to the ground. Wonderful ground and pound, nothing but elbows.
Right.
I don't think I saw one punch thrown while he was on the ground. It was all elbows.
And he was passing guard.
Passed the guard, finally wound up in a position of side control.
Right.
Actually, he was in half. He was half. And that half set up the Darce choke.
All right. So let's wrap this up. We had Abdul Razak Al Hassan, who put in quick work on Nico Price, beat the buffer factor, and knocked him out in the first round.
Correct.
We had Jimmy Rivera win by what was the decision?
I think it was a decision. Yes.
Over John Dodson.
That was a good fight, though.
That was a good fight. Zabit Magomed Sharapov with the knee bar on Brandon Davis after a short fight replacement, 11 days to prepare.
I was impressed with Brandon. I was definitely impressed by Zabit.
Yep. Karolina Kovalkiewicz failed to meet the buffer factor in the blitzkrieg that Jessica Andrade put on her.
Called that one long ahead of time.
That one was brutal. And then finally, in the second round, Tyron, the chosen one, Woodley, defended his title for the fourth time. Again, this time against Darren Till with a Darce choke in the second round.
I'm really going to be interested to see what kind of hate Tyron gets on Monday.
I don't think that there's any hate that they can give. What they better do is they better give him a Performance of the Night award. If they don't, that's robbery.
Like I said, I think Tyron is that champion that is loved to be hated.
All right.
Everyone loves to hate him.
Well, I tell you one person who loves to hate him, and that's Colby Covington. So I can't wait to see what Colby Covington has to say about this young man and his performance tonight. All right. Well, that wraps up UFC 228 and our coverage from Austin Avenue. This is Ryan Smith with George G. Money Stallworth. Tell us one more time when you're fighting again and where is it going to be?
Next fight, September 15th, Dominion Fight Academy here in Richardson, Texas. Come out, check us out. $7 donation gets you in the doors. Not sure what number I am on the card, but definitely looking forward to this next fight.
All right. Well, we're going to keep in touch with you whenever you find out which number you are on the card. Will you find out that night or will you find out ahead of time?
That night.
Okay. Well, we're going to try to keep everyone apprised of where George is fighting, and we're going to make sure that we do our best to support you either while we're there or keeping track of what's happening and giving you the love that you deserve as you walk into that ring that night. So, as we always do, this is Ryan Smith reminding you to keep your hands up, keep your chin tucked, and throw bombs. We'll catch you next time.